All right, week 8 done and dusted, and I got the big one right. Cloud9 did take care of business against 100 Thieves at the top of the week, so I was like, great. This is gonna be a great day for predictions, great weekend for predictions. But of course, then the very next game after that, TSM, instead of being dominant, lose to Evil Geniuses, and I end up going 2-3 the rest of the way. The only one that I also got right was Evil Geniuses beating CLG, which looked scary because CLG did beat Golden Guardians. But this week will be better, I promise. The final week of the LCS, it's time for predictions, my picks. Let's see if you will be able to top mine. Let's see them now. So we'll go right off the top. TSM versus 100 Thieves. Yeah, that's right. Last time these two met, 100 Thieves beat TSM. It felt like a passing of the torch. 100 Thieves had figured it out and were dominant. Since then, both teams been a little shaky. This match could be the tiebreaker here between the two squads on who's getting the top seed. 100 Thieves 1-2 from last week. TSM 2-1 from last week. These two teams are currently 2-2. It's going to be very exciting to see. I've got... I want it to be 100 Thieves, but I think TSM is more in form. This is the time where they use the Nocturne pick in the top lane that Huni has been forcing over and over and over again and bait it out as a pick. They're not actually going to pick it. They're going to last pick top. They're not going to give someday a comfortable matchup. And in the back of your head, 100 Thieves and Reaper are going to get a little too cheeky and think about that Nocturne pick that Huni is going back and forth for, then get himself a counter pick. And with that, have a very clear lane for Spica to camp around and get someday behind. So let's go with that. TSM over 100 Thieves. In the battle for third, it's Evil Geniuses against Cloud9. Evil Geniuses getting back to their winning ways. Cloud9 had the opportunity to go perfect, but dropped their match later against TSM, proving that they weren't quite there, but it was a great match against TSM. I think because of that, and they are in form, they've been battle tested. I've got Cloud9 again. I know I keep going back to Cloud9 as a crutch, and it's making me lose all these games, but I think Cloud9 in playoffs, there's just something special about them. They can figure it out. This is a de facto like semi-final winner bracket matchup because both these teams not only vying for the third place spot to the first seed. Yeah, the third place spot. I was going to say the first seed in the first round, but the first and second seeds get buys. But also possibly chasing one of those buys because the two teams in front of them, one of them is going to lose, so you're only going to be one game behind, not 2 games behind. So I've got Cloud9 over Evil Geniuses. I am in the Cloud9 camp until they prove me wrong. Next up, playoff implications on the other side of the playoff bracket. It's FlyQuest against Golden Guardians. Now, we've already highlighted how Golden Guardians have figured it out, especially here in the back half since acquiring Licorice. Well, things have cooled off a little bit for the Golden Guardians. They went 0-3 last week, losing to CLG and giving CLG a little bit more hope and life in the playoff race. FlyQuest as well. They started with their swap. They brought in Academy. Academy did great, went 3-0. Then they went 1-2. And then since then, FlyQuest also 0-3. So these teams gotta win. One of them's gotta win. And one of them is also gonna take that playoff spot. Currently, FlyQuest has it. FlyQuest announced this week that they're making yet another roster swap. Kumo is still staying in the top side of the map. But then in comes Jose Diodo and Palafox in the mid jungle duo with keeping the Academy bot lane of Tomio and Diamond. So with all that said, what does that mean? Golden Guardians, can they get themselves over the hump against this game? In this case, I think they do. I think Jose Diodo and Palafox are great players, but the success of that Academy team when they started was their decisiveness and their ability to shot call right away. I think NXI and Triple had a lot to do with that, especially with their we've got nothing to lose attitude. When you're coming back into the roster for the final week and all the pressure's on for FlyQuest, I don't know if they're going to be able to get that done. Although Golden Guardians did drop matches last week, I did appreciate the proactive play that Chime was making for the squad. He was the one making the calls, calling the flanks, and although they didn't always pan out, you put that up against a team that hasn't really practiced together over the last week, then you get yourself an opportunity to ask them a ton of questions like Chime has been, and they are not prepared for it. So give me Golden Guardians over FlyQuest. Down the list, surprisingly, it's two teams that are closer together in standings than what people think. Team Liquid against Immortals. Coming into this last week, the past 2 weeks, Team Liquid 3-3, Immortals 5-1. They went 3-0 last week after apparently someone got sick and they had to go back to online play, and Immortals seemed to have figured it out. Destiny got Player of the Week this week. So given all that, the form that Immortals are in seems pretty good. Team Liquid still trying to figure it out, and I'm still waiting for this monstrous play from Jensen that we're so used to seeing. We're so used to seeing Jensen just take over a game and blow him up. Although he did pop off in that one game against Golden Guardians as Aurelia. But I'm waiting for him to do that against some of the bigger opponents. And I would say, again, in my opinion, Insanity is the best of the rest of mid laners, one of the best North American mids. So do that against them. I think that's going to be one, as well as what's the status of Santorin and Armeo? Like, who's going to get the start? Because Xerxes has been playing better and better. And again, gives you that world's presence on a roster full of talent that can pop off. Like, I think he's kind of like leading the way and guiding the way. As much as Destiny got the MVP last week, I think Xerxes has been playing well and been very self-aware after a terrible week 6 performance that even he was like, this was awful. I should be benched. So give me Immortals over Team Liquid on this one. If they lose, Team Liquid gets a pop-off performance from Jensen, but otherwise, I've got Immortals with the upset. We'll do our quick CLG pick of the week at the very end of the week. CLG versus FlyQuest. I think by that time, CLG will already be eliminated. They might be able to beat Dignitas. I don't think they beat TSM. But FlyQuest up against Golden Guardians. I picked Golden Guardians to beat them. FlyQuest against Immortals. I'm going to pick Immortals to beat them. So there might be a world where CLG is still alive. They win against Dignitas, and they might force the 3-way tie between themselves, FlyQuest, and Golden Guardians. They hold the tiebreaker over Golden Guardians, who have to play 100 Thieves, then Immortals. So there might be a world where CLG come back and win. How counter logic would it be? It'd be quite counter logic. Also, CLG currently 0-4 against FlyQuest. Give me CLG against FlyQuest here in the final game of the season. It's going to force some weird tiebreakers and tiebreaker scenarios. We're going to get the foldy sheet, all that stuff, because it would be truly counter logic for CLG to force tiebreakers in which they lose. Give me some Tanner time and give me some Golden Faith Age. Give me all the CLG memes. I'll take it. Bam. All right, last pick of the split. It's a replay of the mid-season showdown finals, Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. These two teams definitely not where they want to be, not fighting for the top, but fighting for playoff positioning, playoff spot. At this point in time, it's full playoff buff for both of them. Armeo, who had a huge, was the hero of the playoffs for Team Liquid, I think, doesn't figure it out at this time. Blabber pops back on off. Give me Cloud9 over Team Liquid. All right, y'all, those are my predictions for this week. Hopefully it'll improve over the 2 and 3 of last week. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you think there's going to be crazy tiebreakers for the bottom half of playoffs.